In a quiet library, a stern librarian named Ms. Prudence sat at her desk, shushing anyone who dared to make a sound louder than a whisper. Every day was the same routine, until one fateful morning. As Ms. Prudence was shushing away, a peculiar thing happened. A sneeze echoed from the far corner of the library. "Achoo!" it went. Ms. Prudence's eyebrows shot up in surprise, but she carried on, thinking it was a one-time incident. However, the sneezing didn't stop. Every few minutes, another sneeze would erupt from a different section of the library. Achoo! 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 It was like a bizarre symphony of sneezes. Ms. Prudence was baffled. She marched over to the reference section, where a young man with a book was sitting. "Young man, do you have a cold?" she inquired sternly. The man looked bewildered. "No, ma'am. I'm not sneezing." Ms. Prudence huffed and moved on. She encountered a woman engrossed in a magazine. "Madam, cover your mouth if you must sneeze." The woman stared at her in confusion. "I haven't sneezed, ma'am." Ms. Prudence was at her wit's end. She returned to her desk and the symphony of sneezes continued. Just then, a small child with a picture book burst into giggles, followed by a loud, "Achoo!" Ms. Prudence turned her attention to the child. "Young lady, control yourself." The child tried to stifle her giggles. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but it's not me." Ms. Prudence glanced around the library, her frustration growing. It was like the sneezes were playing a game of hide and seek. Suddenly, a loud sneeze erupted right behind her. Ms. Prudence spun around to find the janitor, Mr. Higgins, holding a feather duster. He sneezed again. "Achoo!" "Mr. Higgins!" Ms. Prudence exclaimed, her voice a mix of surprise and irritation. "Are you responsible for all these sneezes?" Mr. Higgins sheepishly scratched his head. "Well, ma'am, I was cleaning the dusty books, and I guess the dust got to me." Ms. Prudence sighed, her stern facade melting slightly. "Mr. Higgins, please ensure the library is properly ventilated while you clean. We can't have a sneezing symphony disrupting our peaceful establishment." Mr. Higgins nodded earnestly. "Of course, ma'am. I'll make sure to open the windows next time." And so, the sneezing symphony came to an end. The library returned to its quiet atmosphere, with readers reading and the occasional whisper. And as for Mr. Higgins, he learned a valuable lesson about the power of dust and its ability to turn a serene library into a comical chaos.